hello everybody, welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom, they call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. They call me on the phone and they ask me, say, hey man, what's your show about? I say, yeah, it's about an hour. It's about an hour, it's about guitars, guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So, here's the thing, if you want to call me up on the phone and ask me about, question about the guitar, how to play the guitar, the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you? That's fine. If you want to talk about a related topic like the guitarrón, the cítara, the lute, the oud, the vihuela, the sitar, banjos, balalaikas, bouzouki's, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos, ukuleles, banjolales, mandolins, mandors, mandolas, mandocellos. I want to talk about harmoniums or harpsichords, trombones or trombomarinas, clarinets, clavinets, pipe organs, piccolos. Well, this goes on, I suppose. Harmoniums and harpsichords, harmonicas, politics, world events, your own personality problems. That's fine. Just keep it clean. This is a family show. I mean, we're here for you, but keep it clean. We could talk about politics and world events. Anyway, I brought my DBZ, Dean B. Zielinski, famous for the Dean guitar. See, when I was a young fella, back in the old days, Dean guitars were like these wild, like shaped, V-shaped or lightning bolt-shaped heavy metal guitars. And they were pretty hot stuff, And they had the Dean babies marketing them. So I went to a trade show once. I worked for a music company, and we went to a big trade show in Chicago. And Dean had the Dean babies, who were women with very short shorts and lots of makeup and exposed midriffs and so forth.
Booth babes.
Booth babes, yes. So they call me. Which is, I guess, fine and everything. I mean, it's a modeling job, an acting job. I don't know what they knew about guitars and stuff. Being kind of a guitar nerd, that's not what I was there for. I mean, I guess I don't want to. I don't want to be all puritanical and ruin commerce.
And we notice you have the guitar.
Well, see, now Dean, though, he sold his company. I have a few Deans, actually. I have two Dean guitars, which have been on the show, hollow bodies, small hollow bodies. I have a Dean bass guitar. It's a six-string bass, which I haven't had on the show because the thing scares me. It's a huge bass guitar with no frets, and it makes my thumb hurt when I play it. So. But this is Zielinski. This is DBZ because he sold his company some years ago and opened another company. So this is a smaller company, and DBZ or Zielinski. I have it through this little Digitech RP90 pedal, preset number 23. So I got this creamy reverb. Some people hate this sort of sound, but I like it. As I'm fond of saying, the nominally French guitarist Pierre Bensoussan, he's an acoustic fingerstyle guitar player who uses acoustic electric. He says he has a nickname. I have a nickname with these sound people. They call it more reverb. So he always wants more reverb. So this is pretty creamy, but I think it's lush. Some people like to have it completely dry, no reverb at all. It's just a pure signal. And I think, well, it's okay. I mean, some people like dry toast without butter. Some people don't want any fun at all. I like a little reverb. Okay. I was working on something earlier. I was doing this. something. What is it? Is this almost? Is this almost October? Was next week going to be the last one of the month?
Yes, so if people would like to see this show being made, we will be on location next week.
Yeah, we better start promoting. So I want everybody to stop down because we're going to have the Chameleons, which is generally an all-women's band. I think they're all grown up. They're like my age, I think. The Chameleons will be upstairs with me next week. Uptown Bill's upstairs from here. Uptown Bill's at the corner. South Dubuque and Lafayette. 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock Tuesday, next Tuesday. The Chameleons will be there. We're going to have accordions and ukuleles and string bass. And it's all women except John Lake, I think, plays with them sometimes. So that's Tom's Guitar Show Special. Every month we do a show from the coffee house. And this month is no exception. And the last one is next week. So that'll be it. Hello, you're on Tom's Guitar Show.
Hello, Tom.
Hey.
You got a great hat.
Thank you. It's cotton. It's machine washable. This one, if you could see it, it's a little bit starting to fade a little bit in the front there. But,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that well.
oh, it's starting to fade a little bit. See, because it's machine washable. It's been through the wash a couple times. It's a great hat.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I was going to ask you, I saw Austin City Limits recently, and they had this terrible socialist communist thing going on down there where if you belong to the musicians union, you got health care, you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about that? Do you know much about the Austin music scene?
Not much more than I know, except I know people who've been down there and worked down there, and I've also used to watch Austin City Limits a lot. But yeah, the union is, I know that the union has like an old musicians home, where they, like a nursing home for old musicians and stuff. They take care of musicians. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think unions are. I mean, I guess I was more sort of anti-union in a way because I didn't want to join the musicians union, and I thought. I bought into a lot of the propaganda about unions, and it's true some unions are pretty corrupt, but I tell you, they sure did help things a lot.
Well, I hate to jump right into politics.
Yeah, well, I said we could talk about
You
politics.
know,
That's right.
Romney just told about half the country that we're, just moochers.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, that's not really very. I was listening to it on BBC when I was coming back from Cedar Rapids. I had the BBC on the radio, the public radio, and they were talking about it. But they were interviewing a guy from, I guess, an editor of the newspaper in Jackson, Mississippi. And the truth is that a lot of the people, the states that receive the most like government assistance, vote for Republicans. But like
Yeah, it's
Mississippi,
kind of screwy.
yeah, they get a lot more than they give, for income tax. And a lot of those people, vote for Republicans. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even true. I mean,
Well, keep your government hands off my Medicare.
right? Is his microphone working there for him? Or?
Well, the mics are working okay.
No.
Actually.
Let's see. Just Kubinski was crawling around the floor there, adjusting the microphones and things. It's a thankless job. Well,
I
thank
was
you.
going to ask you, what's a supernumerary?
That's a good question.
That's the title Phil gave himself.
Phil does the credits, so I mean, you kind of have to ask him. I mean, supernumerary is what is a super?
Person extra and above what's actually needed.
It's somebody who's one extra person that's not needed or something. It's an extra person, but I don't know.
Clever credits.
Yeah, well,
That's Phil.
that's Phil. Phil has a certain sense of humor. We've enjoyed it. Suffered from. No, we've enjoyed his sense of humor for years now, and so. Yeah. But no, I mean the.
And the winner of the most recent American Idol.
Yeah, I had to go up and take care of my mother for a couple months while she had shoulder surgery, another one. And I guess, I don't work. It's just a moocher,
Yeah.
just taking all those benefits from the rich people. Sorry. It was pretty astounding what he said. I don't know if you watched the news recently.
I've seen clips about it, and I've heard about it for sure. I just Romney. He says all kinds of things to all kinds of different people. But Abraham Lincoln had this thing about people who don't tell the truth, is that they can't possibly keep up, with their different stories. So he's been all over the place. There's no way he can keep up with what he said here and there. Stand behind it. But.
Yeah, he doesn't care about these people. He doesn't care about poor people, like so fire people.
Or middle class people either.
Middle class, yeah, I don't care about them. And I'll get rid of Obamacare. And Planned Parenthood, I'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
This guy's kind of weird and scary.
Yeah.
It's a music show, I know, but you said politics are okay.
Yeah, well, I think I agree with you that Romney is weird and scary, and we could talk about politics or world events, politics, or our own personality problems if we want.
No, you don't have enough time for my personality problem. Sorry.
We could stretch it out over like the next 10 years or so, But that's right. But no, I mean, but no, Romney is kind of spooky. But when you think about it, we had Sarah Palin as the vice presidential candidate last time around, and this Paul Ryan guy, who was supposed to be so great and everything, now people are starting to take a good look at him, and they don't like him either. So, but,
sure.
Well, we got to get it over with. I mean, we can't have these guys. I mean, the Republicans have to do something different, because their whole campaign thing was that they quote line when Obama was saying, you didn't build that, and so they didn't include what he said before and after, because he was talking about infrastructure and
Oh, they've been much worse in those public ads.
Yeah.
The other side, they have kind of distorted the truth.
But see, the thing is if you base your convention as a big message that you didn't build that, and they could campaign on that and say, well, wait a minute, anybody who just looks, checks it out, says, it's true, you didn't build the road leading up to your factory, you didn't educate your workforce, public schools did that, and so forth. That's what he was saying, which is all true. So if you base the whole thing on a lie, what are you going to do? So, I don't know. I mean,
do you remember a band called the Talking Heads?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have to thank Reagan for. He's the first one, that talked about pundits being in Talking Heads.
Yeah.
And that was kind of hip. Yeah.
Talking Heads, yeah. I remember them when they, well, the whole thing about Talking Heads and the pundits and everything, but the pundocracy. Yeah, I hope, I'd be glad to get past this point in history. Except it all, be that much closer to death, I suppose. Maybe the next phase will be worse. Now they're talking about, China's talking about having a bond war against Japan because they own a lot of Japanese debt. And
a bond war?
A bond war, yeah. So they could destroy the Japanese economy over some islands that are disputed. And there've been all these demonstrations in China against the Japanese.
Yeah.
So there's some Chinese politician was talking about, doing a bond attack. Now the thing about China is they don't spend that much money on their military, but they've been investing all over the world. They're buying up American businesses all over the place and stuff. And my brother was in Europe, and he was talking about how they own big chunks of Bulgaria now. Bulgaria, of course, is post-communist, depressed Eastern European country, so the Chinese have been buying it up. So that may be the new thing.
I can't hear him.
Okay, can you hear me?
What's Kapinski saying?
He's telling me to make sure my mic is plugged in. Is my
there's
okay?
a buzz.
I mean, we could.
And I was getting some interference.
Yeah. How's my mic? Can you hear me okay?
And I checked my cables. And, tighten them up.
Yeah.
So, now that sounds better.
It's our problem. Can you hear my microphone? Can you hear this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot better from that last adjustment.
Oh, really?
All right,
Okay.
It was the line 5 then.
Oh, boy. I don't know. We have issues. You see.
Well, yeah.
We're a non-profit organization. We don't really have that much money, and cables,
Yeah.
get old. And I don't know how old the snake is.
Probably one of the 47%, you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I bet you pay taxes.
I actually do pay taxes. I don't. I mean, I pay income taxes and property taxes and sales taxes and road use taxes, and I pay taxes. I mean, I'm a
Sales taxes.
yeah.
They never mention those.
Well,
You know, poor people pay more of their, what do you call it, disposable income, you know, in taxes that they just don't seem to mention.
a higher percentage. Yes. Well, the thing is that okay? The 47% that don't pay income tax pay a lot of other taxes, and they pay a much higher percentage of their income in taxes than the rich people do, who get all the tax breaks.
Yeah.
So I
Or
mean,
if you're a wounded veteran
right.
and come back and you're unemployed and you're 47%.
And a lot of them live in the streets.
You're just sitting there leeching off the Veterans Administration.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what if you're missing a leg? You had another one anyway. So
Yeah. There you go. That seems to be his attitude. It's kind of amazing. I thought this was a real turning point. I just couldn't believe it. Pretty
Yeah.
stunned.
well, he's terrible. I don't understand. I don't understand. But then the primaries, I watched the primaries to some extent, and Michelle Bachmann, Huntsman
make
was
me
on
laugh.
TV and on Fox or something. I saw some clips, and he was very reasonable. And of course, he was towing a Republican Party line, but he was very reasonable. And he was the only one that seemed to be even sane. That was in Newt Gingrich, Rick Santorum.
Rick Santorum just recently said that they'll never get smart people to vote for them. He said that, yeah.
Well, you can get smart people as long as they're greedy. But, if you're rich and greedy. But the thing is, if you're only a millionaire, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. You have to be a billionaire. But yeah, I don't understand it. But I was talking to some people, I talked to some Republicans, and I asked them what they think about the Koch brothers, and they'd never heard of them. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Because they're financing a lot of these.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Anyway, it's
You know,
interesting.
I watched too many talking heads. I admit it.
Yeah.
I like to be informed.
Yeah.
But, there's a certain base amount of involvement in a democracy. You need to pay attention, right?
You need to pay attention, but you got to understand that people will watch, Fox News,
Oh,
and then they'll flip over to CNN for the liberal, the left-wing point of view. They think, but CNN is just Fox Light most of the time. You have a few shows on MSNBC which are liberal, but these people are terribly ill-informed, and we've already discovered that. I think we were talking about this last week, that Fox News won a lawsuit saying that they didn't have to tell the truth. So,
oh yeah.
So if you believe stuff, if you watch, Fox and Friends, and all this outrage over certain things, but the most reputable name in show business or in news is Jon Stewart with the Daily Show. He's the most. The people who watch the Daily Show are the best informed, apparently, according to the surveys.
Sure.
So
I prefer Colbert.
yeah. Well,
But last thing, I read a review recently, Dylan, new album, Tempest. I don't know if you've...
I heard he had a new one. I don't know anything about it, but
Okay. I thought maybe you had heard that already, or...
I heard that he had a new album. I haven't heard, I heard somebody say something really good about it, but there was a really, interesting break with something, and I just saw the headline. I don't have a TV, but I have a computer, and one of those great big iMacs, and I watch video clips and I read stuff a lot. I read blogs and I get links and I read, magazine articles and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of
me
reading, and
too.
I watch video clips.
It was a Time magazine review
Huh.
that was just really positive
Okay.
about this album. Yeah. I think his voice is a little gravelly. But,
A little gravelly.
That's an improvement.
Bob says it's improvement. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I'd be interested to hear his new album. I like Dylan's songs. I kind of tuned him out after even the earlier stuff, like Blood on the Tracks and On Back. Earlier stuff from there.
Sure.
Because when I used to sing in bars all the time, I used to do a lot of Dylan songs. I had like 55 Dylan songs on my song list that I would sing. And it didn't sound like him at all. And
I'll just mention. I've heard you say that like Dylan is an acquired taste.
I think listening to him singing is an acquired taste.
And you like the old stuff. And when I was, you're older than you.
Yeah.
So, there you go. You can place me. I was a freshman in college at a small Catholic college, and they had the audio-visual room, and that's where I first really heard Dylan, the old stuff, from the early 60s on. And you said you really appreciated that stuff the most, and that was your favorite Dylan.
Yeah.
And that made me think back to that. And I agree. Really.
I love that stuff, but a lot of people do too. But of course, the Byrds covered him, and Peter, Paul, and Mary covered him, and so I played my little restaurant gigs on the weekends, and I've been doing more and more Dylan, but I do them as just as guitar solos. But one of the later ones I did was Forever Young, and but I also do Blow in the Wind, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, Lay Lady Lay, and a few other ones, as just as solos.
Sure, but everybody heard Peter, Paul, and Mary. And as a bit commercialized, I think, there's the whole thing about getting them out there and the record producers, and then then you hear his original, and you go, "That's Dylan."
Yeah,
that's right. And I remember you saying when you first heard Dylan do it, you didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't. I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I acquired the taste for it. I never tried to sound like him, though. Another thing was like, I spent a number of years just traveling around playing in bars with, acoustic guitar, my own little PA, and I sang Dylan songs. But I never tried to sound like him. And I knew other people who did, try to sound just like him. And I never thought that was a good idea.
I can't sing either.
Well, I just sing like myself. For better or for worse, usually worse. But I think it's important to sound like yourself. I don't think I'd want to... I wouldn't want to sound
okay,
like...
I'll let you go.
Right.
The review I read, though, Dylan is still kind of addressing social issues, from what I understand from the review I read.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there you go, Talking Heads and Mitt Romney and politics and divisiveness. And so he's still at it. And that's impressive. So, I'll let you go, and sorry to take up so much of your time.
It's all right. That's what we're here for. So you keep the faith. Welcome back to Iowa City, and I'll see you later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Since you mentioned your weekend gig, maybe we should mention where and when.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be Tuscan Moon again this weekend, and with a little luck, I'll be out at the patio Friday if it stays warm enough.
Beautiful downtown Kelowna.
Beautiful downtown Kelowna, right next to the bakery. And I'm supposed to start at 6, so I'll be there by 6:30. And I'm supposed to play till 9, but I'll play till like 9:30 or 10. So it's been great. Weather's been nice, and it's been. Warren has these heaters he puts up. He heats the outdoors, but it's like radiant heat. They run on propane. They look like little spaceships, little flying saucers on top of a aluminum tube, and it puts heat down on people, and it's been good. And things have been great in the kitchen. Food's good, and I play my my electric nylon string guitar, and seems like everybody's having a good time. So, but yeah, Friday and Saturday. It's only like 20 20 miles south of town here, in the Amish country. Your waitress may well be a Mennonite. Yeah. So.
Well, that could happen in Iowa City too.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen anywhere, really, but it's much more likely in Kelowna. I mean, percentage-wise, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, your waitress here could be a Presbyterian.
Right.
You know, maybe more likely to be a Presbyterian than a. I mean, not that it really probably makes any difference in the long run.
Yeah, generally with waitresses, their religion doesn't matter much.
I hope not. Some may, not be able to serve you bacon or something, but I don't know.
Don't think you'll find that much in Iowa.
It's not kosher or halal, but yeah, I mean, can we have some halal bacon? No, anyway. But no, I mean, yeah, they're. Kelowna's a nice place. It's a fun little town. I mean, it's a quiet little town, and it's like the only real game in town is the Tuscan Moon after a certain hour. I think there's actually a bar on the edge of town somewhere, and I've never been there, but I mean, you can ask your Mennonite waitress if.
And when the bakery and the cheese factory close, the Tuscan Moon is the nightlife in
Right.
Kelowna.
Yeah, it's a cheese house. Yeah. The guy who works at the cheese house goes to Tuscan Moon. He always brings a little bag of those
the
cheese
curds?
curds. Yeah, that squeak on your teeth, you know, and they become very popular. And but I will say that I've been, you know, part of what I do there. I mean, I don't make much money, but I get to have a nice dinner, so I have the pretty, you know, high calorie dinner, you know.
Right.
At when I get done playing after 10, and I go home because I go to bed because I have to teach in the morning, you know. So I could like eat a low calorie dinner and then go home and walk 5 miles and go to bed. But no, I come home and I surf that internet, you know, and read those articles and stuff, and then go to bed with a. So I'm, you know, the next best thing to losing weight is getting bigger pants. So that's what I've done is I've gotten bigger pants. So anyway, so I mean I'm living too high off the hog is what I'm saying. I'm doing I do well in Kelowna. I won't starve if I keep playing in Kelowna.
Do you still have Dylan in your repertoire?
Yeah. So something's going wrong. Okay. Well, I have a theory about what's going wrong here. Power, power, power. Okay. So it's not the reverb. Excuse me, I'm going to try something here. If I disconnect the... okay, hang on. I'm going to try something a little different because something's going wrong, and I think it might be the battery's dying on this thing. So the output of this... All right, I had a battery in my looper and it's dying, so I guess I'm not going to loop for the rest of the show, but that's all right. I'm going to play some more Dylan. How about... do it again. Well, maybe it wasn't my looper. Something's wrong. Now I'm going to find out what it is. Okay. Now, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to plug this into here. Should have brought a banjo. Que passou? Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe?
We're down to the guitar and amp now.
Could be the cable, this cable.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only cable I got, though.
executive tell us we got a bunch of quarter-inch in here? We'll take a look.
That's right, we could try a different one. I have one here, but it doesn't fit very well because it's if we don't solve any of the other problem, well, I hope it's the cable because that's the cheapest thing to fix. I mean, I can.
Yeah, Bob's working on that.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Bartok pizzicato there where you're snapping the string off the soundboard.
Sounds like a gunshot. Pow!
Car backfiring.
Yeah, well, something's backfiring here. Okay. Yeah. I'll try that instead. Put that in there. I hope it's the cable.
Guess it's not the cable.
Why must I suffer this way? It's not jacketed either, it's making a buzz. Interesting. Well, turning into a pretty dull show here. Let's see, if I, well, I just don't know what to do now. What do I got, like 11 minutes left?
Yep.
You know, this is what the guitar sounds like when it's not plugged in. When I was a chauvinistic young classical guitarist, because it seemed like the electric guitar players are having a lot more fun, you know, than I was. And, I mean, anyway, so I thought, well, what are you going to do when the power goes out? Yeah. And now look at me, I'm paying for it. All these years later, I'm paying for it. Okay, so what if I turn it off entirely? And then maybe I could do a little dance. I knew a guy from Indonesia, and he was telling me that he knew somebody back home in Indonesia, and you know it's a Muslim country, and the guy was a good Muslim. This was talking about, but there were these spirits on this one mountain, and you're going up the mountain, and the car just wouldn't go anymore, so he had to stop the car and like walk around it like counterclockwise a certain number of times, sprinkling cornmeal as he went and saying this thing over and over again. And he did that to appease the spirit of the mountain, and then he got the car and drove up the mountain. See? Because even though this was not part of Islam, it was a part of the previous religion.
Should I check the kitchen for some cornmeal?
Is there cornmeal in there?
I can check.
Can we walk around my amp counterclockwise about? I don't know how many times. What if you did the wrong number of times? But anyway, that's what he's telling me. This story, you know, and anyway. The next question is, I don't know how long I've had this amp. I wonder if it's still under warranty. I mean, this is my fair-haired amp. When my brown DBZ amp started acting up, then I sent it back, had it repaired, and it was okay. I mean, no, my ultrasound amp, excuse me. And then I sent it back, had it repaired, and then it was fine for a while, then it started acting up again. So I just put it away, and I started using this amp all the time with a little pedal. Sweeten it up. And that was fine. And then one day I tried that ultrasound amp again, and it sounded great. And I've been using it now for at least a year without any trouble. So this was my backup amp, and this is probably very boring. I mean, some people, guitar players. If there are any electric guitar players watching, they're probably thinking, oh, wow, this is... Yeah, no, man, I know, I feel your pain. But everybody else, they've flipped over. You know, they're watching a rerun of Seinfeld. boring. Maybe the guitar though. Now that time I switched the pickup to only the bridge position. So maybe that's the problem. Can you imagine how many things can go wrong here? You could have the switch, you could have the knob, which is a little dirty, I can tell. And then, yeah, a little dirty knob. And then you got the wire, the cord, and I had the cord that went into that thing, and the cord that went from that to that, and then the cord that went from that to that. And then, you know, so it could be that box, this, that, the switch, the pickup, you know, the cables, or the amp. So now we narrowed it down. Now I didn't have any trouble at all. Which is the other thing that drives me crazy is like, so like it was a weekend before last, I think it was, I had a wedding to play. So my Taylor guitar was having an issue, and it was, it was making this horrible humming noise. So I went to the guitar shop, and the guy said, "I can't help you, because I got he's a repairman, but he's going to be on the road with his band or whatever like that." So, and he couldn't help me the last time I had trouble with it. So I went home, and we tried. Actually, I had one possible solution. I tried that, didn't work, and then I just plugged it right back into the original amp that I started with. It was fine, it was great. But I borrowed the guitar from the guitar shop just in case to have it as a backup. So I go play the wedding, and it has all kinds of noises. As long as I don't move, I wouldn't make any noise. So during the prelude music, I would start sitting in a little metal folding chair, in this church in Amana. I didn't move at all. So when the padre says, "Everybody stand up," I just sat there, and I didn't move. And I got all my cues right. And then, I didn't make any smash, bang, boom sounds. And then when I played the postlude, I moved again. And it was like boom, bang, And the thing was, the guitar was perfect, And the problem was, I didn't know. I think I figured out what's wrong with it. It just like the jack is getting loose or something, or worn out, and it only likes the one cable that I used at home, and the other cable it didn't like so much. La miseria. Speaking of Italian, what do you call an Italian with a broken arm? A speech impediment. Porco cane. Anyway, so. I'm not even Italian. Okay, so what I hate is when something goes wrong, and see now. According to that countdown climber, there's only 48 seconds left in this show. Next week, upstairs, Uptown Bill's, the Chameleons are going to play. Be there. Uptown Bill's Coffee House. Next Tuesday, 6 o'clock.